Good morning and welcome back to another morning ritual for guitar growth. I'm Jason Carey and I'll be your host this morning, and I'm so happy that we are able to play guitar together. It's just a beautiful thing to be able to do in the morning. So I wanted to take a minute to just focus on breath for myself and remind myself that a simple smile is enough to, just even if it doesn't feel like a real smile, it's the act of using those those muscles actually like creates those endorphins, helps us to literally change my, helps me to change my mood to one of gratitude. And gratitude is the most important thing for me to remember at this moment, and I'm happy, I'm thankful that, oh, hey, I thought I was talking to myself, but I'm standing here so I don't see the comments, and I wanted to say good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Marlon. Good morning, Marlon. Good morning, Mark. And good morning. And Robbie, Mr. Smith, and Mr. Tortorello. Good morning, friends. Great to see you. It's day 3 of Fingerstyle week. We've been pretty busy this week, haven't we? Just maybe roll in easy, and what we have in store for today is some, not advanced breath work, but more, I feel like I'm losing focus on my personal approach because there are people watching me. And this is a good exercise for me to just behave as if no one was watching me, but at the same time respect that your time is valuable. So it's a little bit of a chore. I think the chore in my mind comes from hoping that everyone is on, I can help to be part of the trajectory of every person who wants to grab a thread of success out of this opportunity, this stream. I hope that I can be part of that, helping that and not hindering that. So that's what I mean. But I know you're all good stewards of your own talent, so I won't worry too much. So here's the A440. We have today lots to talk about. Oh, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it. It was great to see last night. We suffered a little bit getting the live stream up and running, but got to leave early for work today. Big snow and flower display for the wife's birthday this morning. Sneaky secret squirrel stuff. Can you, I don't know if it's even appropriate, but I know a good friend of mine just lost his wife yesterday, and I wasn't going to bring it up this morning, but since you bring it up, it's a good thing to respect whenever we can. So if you wanted to wish her a happy birthday from all of us, that would be great. It's a beautiful thing to have that partner in our lives. So here's the A440 again. And yeah, imagine that, dude. Imagine it. Just try not to go there. Just a tough one. All right, so here's the A440, and And I checked my A string earlier today, and my A string is good to go. So what I'll do is just, oh, this is I guess it's you know, I think it's pretty close to being in tune because it's the lock tuners, you know. That's awesome. The guitar seems to be fairly stable. I wanted to talk to you about 4 shapes before, so maybe we get the 4 shapes going, and then Mark, if you have to jump back in later on, you can do that. But we have 1 shape, 2 shapes, and then the 3rd shape, and then the 4th shape. So let me arpeggiate those. So it's going to be in C too. Shape number 1. Shape number 2 is C minor with a sus4 minor 7, and then we move to the 1, and then the 1 dominant shape, and then the Lydian shape. So we're stacking 4s through the C major scale. So 1, 4, major 7, 3. These are all diatonic. These are all 4ths diatonic to the key. So these, what happens, these are, we're going to come back and revisit those shapes because we have some, because it's fingerstyle week, man and women. You know, this is what we're doing. This fingerstyle week. I also brought my fingernails files up here to just kind of reiterate what I'm doing to shape these. So if we have time, I'll do that a little bit later. But I wanted to get right into the breath work after the tuning because we are in tune. And if you're just tuning in, welcome to the morning ritual for guitar growth, where we're talking about personal growth, we're talking about guitar growth, and we're talking about just going for a whole year, every morning, every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for about an hour. So we're going to collect about 260 hours of morning ritual time by the end of this year. Probably more, probably log some more than that. But I wanted to let you know that our good friend Raul is starting to, he all of a sudden, he has all kinds of videos on his guitar channel. So pretty interesting stuff. I checked it out last night, some of it, and he's walking us through the Grimoire, the Guitar Grimoire book, and it's he's just nailing finger exercises. So it's a really cool thing for us to check out because of our particular interest with the morning warm-up and, you know, daily ritual, that kind of thing. So nice work. And he also made a full recording with a cell phone or a GoPro, or I think it's just a Sony camera set. He recorded an entire session working through the morning ritual for guitar growth right here on this channel, and he posted it to his channel, his YouTube channel. Now what that does is it gives us a model, a snapshot of where he was at, and it gives himself, even more importantly, a snapshot of where he was at just now at the beginning of the year. And he's going to, I'm assuming that he'll do these periodically. And then we'll take a look at where the technique lands squarely a year from, you know, at the end of this year. So I thought, really, that's like, what a great idea to record yourself going through the process, so you also have something of note, like a memory aid, like a visual aid to go up when we go back and we critique ourselves to see how much gain we've made over the course of the year. Just wonderful idea. So I would encourage you to do that. I'm going to share that video just as an incentive tool to just more like an awareness tool. So let's get started. Maybe we want to do that on our own, you know. Fingers 3 and 4, and let's get moving at 4 tags per beat. And I'm walking through index, middle, just walking, taking the fingers for a walk this morning. one E, and a 2E, and a here we go. Just 2 fingers. We could use all 4 fingers if we want to get, you know, that that heart thing going. But I think we'll just work in index and middle fingers for another day. I see another. Sure, it was Sony. I can't even imagine that loss. So sorry for your friend. Yeah, absolutely. I think you see the weight I gain. I like to see the weight I gain. That's right, exactly. Good morning, all. I'm hopefully going to see the weight I shed. 𝗵𝗡 morning, all. Let your fingers do the talking. Let's do it. You're right. 1E and a 2E and a you know what to do E and 11 and 12. Oh, my fingers are not keeping up. 1E and a 2E and a you know what to do E and 11 and 12. I feel like Nels Cline adjusting the delay pedal with my foot in real time. There we go. I think we have a manageable level there. I wanted to talk a little bit while we're doing this about the metronome and why I'm doing this, because it's important. You can hear, I think you can hear those words that Mr. Tony Williams was asked. You know, are you in charge being the drummer? Are you in charge of keeping everybody in time in the band on the, you know, and so he responded almost immediately. He's like, no, man, I'm not, and this is a paraphrase. But no, if you can't keep your own time, you've got no place on the bandstand. And so that Tony Williams interview is up on 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏's YouTube page right now, I think, or 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.com. You can check it out, Life Beyond the Symbols. But it's really, really fine words from a really high level, top level player. Fingers 2 and 3. 1E and a 2E and a TE and a BOE and a hello, sir. Sophia 314 314. Working on, eventually we work on scales, but right now we're working through a morning ritual for guitar growth, and it's fingerstyle week, so you'll notice I'm using fingers on my picking hand. And then we have a surprise, like a little bit of a surprise at the end of the session today. We're going to cover 4 different intervallic shapes which use stacked diatonic fourths, and we're going to roll through those with our newfound and newly developing right hand technique. Which will add some really great high angle linear stylings to our guitar playing. And high angle and high ascending and high descending, very exciting linear lines that we can create because of these 4 patterns. And let me try that. I would encourage you, if you're just new here, and I know I've seen your name here before, but and then Son of Jane, very cool that you're here. 𝗵𝗡, see you there, yes. See you again, thanks for being here. I would encourage you, if you're wanting to join, this is free every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next episode is tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Woo! So Fingers 1 and 2, frets 11 and 12. 1 E and a 2 E and a, you know what to do. I'm working on keeping focused on our morning ritual as we play alone together across the universe, across the globe anyway. I guess it would be available at the space station. I mean, so it's probably universal, I guess. I'm probably thinking too small. Part of my motivation for today, my daily motivation, is to think big. And if I think I'm thinking big, think bigger. I have to tune it. I think since last tuning it was in open G tuning. Oh yeah, that's cool. It will sound different. You can play, we're not playing anything tonal really today until the last part, the last 15 minutes of the lesson, so, or this lesson, the session. Why we're doing this is so that we actually can all get together and we can all play really cool guitar every morning, all year long, every weekday morning. And we have our 1 hour approach to becoming guitar players, right? This is the act of becoming and maintaining guitar, our station as guitar practitioners. So fingers 2 and 3, or 3 and 4, frets 11 and 12, 10 and 12. 1 E and a 2 E and a, you know what to do, E and a. Take the time to tune up and join us. Yeah, push mute and then get yourself in line and jump right in with us. We'll be here until 8:30, and we'll be here again tomorrow. And what's really happening here is we're identifying that there's a large group of us who want to better ourselves. Number one, it's about self-improvement, I think, and then becoming more aware of my physical, process ease. Really focusing, dialing in my breath, and my posture, my attitude, and my picking hand, and my fretting hand, so that they are not operating under duress. I want this to be as calm and cool as as iced tea, an Arnold Palmer. So fingers 2 and 3, we're doing that same stretch, but now we're getting somewhere. I can see my left hand is starting to open up a little bit more than it has been, which is really great. It's really what I'm after. I'm after the Alan Holdsworth, the Petrucci material, but at the same time, I'm also after that slow, emotional delivery of a very simple blues melody and authentically connecting with every note. So that's really what I'm after. Sometimes I say words that are totally unnecessary, and so there's the E.B. White, elements of style that a good, I got turned on to, and don't use words that are not needed. Oh yeah, speaking of not needed, the count off would be, I would consider that to be needed. 1 E and a 2 E and a 2 and 3 and go E and a. I'll be getting a guitar again this weekend after a 3-year hiatus. My hands are different than when I was a youth. A lot of construction. I hope it's not too painful to play again. Well, I can personally attest that, I almost chopped my index finger on my fret hand with a chop saw. I got it halfway off there. We had in a previous life, we had a little thing going on where we were building a whatever it was, 55 unit division or whatever. You can see my first finger though. You can see on the edge of it, next to that little scar, there's some tissue there that it came back together, but it's going to take a little bit of time potentially. But I'm glad to hear that you're back at it, and those are the little glimmers of hope that we are looking to sustain and hear more about over this 2025 year. 1 E and a 2 E and a fingers 1 and 2, same thing. Very important. If you can all, I hope you can all hear the metronome, the click. All right, Sophia 314, glad you're back. You know, I'd call it close enough for rock and roll, you know what I mean? As long as you can get through this, you can tune up with us tomorrow. We do go through a tuning process, and then now that I know that we are going to take a little bit more time to get tuning. But I feel like that click is super important to observe. And once in a while, I will just, life will grab me by the bullhorns and lead me to forget that there is a click track too. You know, I wonder how Mr. Peart did it in Rush, you know, in Rush concerts, because they always played to clicks, right? So you don't just walk on stage and play to an entire concert as a drummer to a click track. And if you get off one beat, the entire lighting sequence is all, you know, screwed up. You don't just walk on stage if you haven't practiced the metronome. I don't think anyway. Sophia, do you play with a pick? Yeah, we do play with a pick. You just happen to join us. If you're just joining us, this is every weekday morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for 1 hour. We go through a morning ritual for guitar growth. And that basically, we have Mr. Tortorello here. You can see he's chiming in. Mr. Tortorello is a yoga, he's encouraging all of us to continue or develop and continue a yogic practice so that we can improve our physical bodies, which in turn helps us to improve our guitar techniques. We're talking about very basic and fundamental principles where we just show up. The act of showing up, the activity is the key, right, for many of us. So showing up and doing the repetition is just where the rubber meets the road for me. And that click, sometimes I'll forget to observe that click. But if you ask questions in this live feed, this live chat, rest assured there are other great, like wonderful guitar players all over the planet who are also reading your chat, and they're also able to respond in real time. So if I don't get to you, there are other guitar players that are totally capable of addressing any needs, okay? So if I miss you, oh, Mr. Husband, good morning. Good morning, crew. Yeah, it does. It feels like we're getting in that, you know, that commercial rig and going off to work together. So we've got 2 and 4, and we have frets 9 and 12. And a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... I was a cop for 33 years. Well, thank you for your service. Big deal there. Thankless, but we're gonna say thank you for certain. My hands are broken up pretty good. The guitar is a great therapy. That's a great testimony. I'm so glad that we've all made it to this point today. What I was saying about finger picking, we typically are using the pick. We're typically on the pick. But today we are day number 3 into fingerstyle week. So we don't want to overlook the opportunities of fingerstyle. And it's hard, it's a difficult thing to get vested into, but it's certainly really like a more than viable approach to the guitar, especially when you hear the Pierre Ben-Suzannes, the Matteo Mancusos, who are some other like great like Mr. Chet Atkins, Mr. Guitar himself, right? Finger stylists. So yeah, it's all good stuff. Do you play with a pick or no pick? I prefer a pick. You know, if you prefer no pick, yeah, you're in the right place for this week for certain. It's so abandon reality. It's so cathartic, especially if you already know how to play. Oh yeah, yeah. It is. It's just that moment where we sit down in the seat. I can't wait to see what I saw. Anthony said something, but it is about giving ourselves that moment, that time, that breath, and breathing in and breathing out. And you do that one cycle and you already feel the respite there, right? So imagine if we spend an hour a day doing that at the beginning and the end of the day. Hey, can't really see this name, 𝗏𝗏𝗏. I really struggle with making good solos. Yeah, me too. Been really depressing. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Been playing for 17 years. Just thought I would be over this hump. Hump. Yeah, well, you know, I wake up in the morning sometimes and I look in the mirror and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm not a guitar player. And it's like, you know, I've made probably $1 million on a guitar, you know, being a guitar player in my lifetime, which isn't to say much because I probably could have made 100 million by now if I was really like commercialized. But, you know, I have friends of mine who are just like, don't know how to sight read, don't care about learning how to sight read, but they play gigs with really high performing bands and they sound great. They could go anywhere in the world and play and be happy. And they're playing minor pentatonic scale. So, you know, it's about your goals. Like my goals are pretty lofty. I'm shooting for the golden arches. Do you know what I mean? And I think that sometimes we can be our own worst self-critics. And, you know, fortunately for us, once we realize where our shortcomings are, we can focus on those areas. Like Mr. Pat Metheny talks about that. He's like, yeah, I don't practice the things I don't need to practice. Like he practices, his morning ritual is like, you know, an hour long, but his practice cycle is 8 hours a day. And then, you know, he can't possibly practice everything he needs to maintain in 8 hours. So it takes him like 3 months to get through an entire cycle of maintenance, right? So you get to learn so many things that it turns into a sequence or a cycle, like a practicing cycle. Abandon, congrats on picking up the guitar again. That's an excellent. The world needs more guitar players. Join us every morning. Yeah, join us every morning. Mr. Tortorello's just got it. He's on fire, this guy. If you haven't seen his band Denim Dennis, you're missing out. I'm just saying, you know, Denim Dennis on YouTube. Check out the song Journeyman. You're just mind blown. Just came by this video. Am I watching someone warming up? Yeah, you're watching probably, I don't know how many people, 50 of us warm up at the moment. And I would encourage you, if you're a guitar practitioner, to also join us. And what we're doing is we're on fingers 2 and 4 now, and we're using fingers 2 and 4 on frets 9 and 12. And the metronome is running every morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for an hour. And we have 1 and a 2E and a 4 attacks per beat. We're in third day of fingerpick style week. So 1E and a 2E and a you know what to do E and a. Kind of makes me want to quit. Yeah, I would say you're not alone. I've been there and done that. You know, it's you know, you can get burnt out. So I would say try to figure out a pattern for balance for yourself. Talk rich, attack rich. I would encourage you to, you know, do what you feel is right. And it sounds like you know, once in a while I like to redraft my short-term goals. Where do I see myself in 3 months? So I could go through all of these exercises, or I could really hyper focus on one and get super good on one, you know, and then get really fiery in one area and specialize, or I could just kind of work all of my fingers, and then in the morning ritual sort of welcome all of my fingers to the table. So they're all capable of passing the butter when asked, right? Let's do fingers 1 and 3, frets 9 and 12. 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4 E and a... Ooh, I'm a bluegrass player, but I don't play with a pick. All right, do you have any videos on your channel, 𝗙𝗏314? I'd love to see that. I'm myself I'm enjoying flat picking guitar. I'm a flat picker. I've got one of Matt Lindsay's, I don't know if you know Mr. Matt Lindsay. Matt's a good friend. He's a national flat picking champion. Super guitar player. Wild man. Wild man. But I've got one of his old guitars. If you had some videos about bluegrass playing with fingerstyle, love to see it. Abandon reality. The older I get, the more I regret the things I've given up on. No doubt, don't doubt yourself. Maybe just listen to music you've never heard. Find inspiration from other places. Good answer. Listening is like 90, I guess I don't know what exactly the percentages listening is of learning music, but listening is super, you know, it's at least 90% of learning music. So listening is huge, critical even. I can finger pick and cross pick, but I don't use a pick. Wow. Yeah, I definitely got to see some of your videos. So let's go ahead and just get fingers 2, 3, and 4 going. This is a hard one for me to talk over, so you'll see me stumble a little bit, and that's okay, because we're all friends. 1 E and a 2 E and a 9, 10, 11, 12, and we're doing 3 in the fret hand and 2 still in the right hand, on the pick hand. Raul, you got a nice shout out earlier. Finally, I had no internet there. Good morning, Mr. McWenna. Oh yeah, we're definitely sending people to your channel. Your work up on all of those, your work up on all of that guitar, what is it called? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but your warm-ups are great. We're going to start incorporating some of those this week. Thank you for sharing some of those with us. Those are amazing warm-ups. We're actually heading in that direction anyway. You know, it's like, and then you shouted, and then you said yet last night that you were actually, you had posted like 40 hours of like warm-ups on your channel, and I'm thinking, what? The last time I looked, I don't think I saw any videos on your channel. So you've been busy, or I've been missing out. Or yeah, I don't know how to use the internet. Could be all of the above. Fingers 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you know do. How many hours you put into Mr. Sandman, Anthony? Oh yeah. A onesie and a twosie and I'm putting on my shoes. Got it. Hey Sophia, what were you working on in OpenG? I wanted to mention the critical arch between the wrist, the elbow, and all the way to the tips of the index and middle fingers are just, it's critical that that arch remains sort of like positive and never gets broken. You know, as soon as I start doing this, I'm starting to sustain workplace injury. I just wanted to throw that out there if you're hanging out. Let me just get a couple comments here while I stretch. All right, stretching time. I know we're a little late on the stretch, but straight elbow, and we have pull back here, just leaning back into it. And breathing. I've worked on it about 5 to 10 hours, and now I have a long way to go. I'll post a progress video soon. Nice. It's going to take months, probably, huh? It can. I mean, some of that work is very detailed, right? It's very detailed work. Did you guys hear that Mr. Rosenwinkel just released a 1,500 pages of his original compositions? Just unbelievable. It's going to take, yes, I have a similar song. Took me 9 months, easy, and I'm still working on it every day. The Sage by, oh, no way. Emerson, Lake and Palmer. What a great, great track. Yeah, it depends, right? And it's different for like how much seat time. So we do run into prioritization. So for me, the goals are the short-term goals for every 3 months, you know, and then the long-term goals for every 5 years. Like having 3 of each is really helpful thing for a person like me, just to, you know, because I'm one of those people who wants to do everything, but I appreciate the Japanese swordsmith. Do you know what I mean? That, you know, you've got to do it for a whole lifetime and then hand that information forward. They've got to do that. Your progeny needs to do that for a whole lifetime. And then after 4 or 5 lifetimes of acquiring knowledge and skills, you become good at building swords. And it's a little bit like this. Mark, 11 likes, almost halfway there. Actually, yeah, we're looking for 40 now. We're upping our game. We want to get lofty with it. We're getting lofty with it. So we'll get 40. I do not actually have any videos, not yet. Hey, Mr. Scott K. Fish is right here. Oh my word. Warm-ups this morning has 2 meanings in man. You are not kidding. We were just talking about the Mr. Tony Williams, what he said about time and how important it is for me, people like me, to work with time, with a click track at 60 beats per minute, and then be a governor of my own concept of time and not be dependent on that skill set of a drummer and that management and leadership of a drummer, but to know enough about time so that I might be able to respect what the drummer is laying down or isn't laying down for time. So we were just talking about that. Do you have, so I don't know if any of you have met Mr. Scott K. Fish yet, but Mr. Scott K. Fish is he's like a past managing editor for Modern Drummer magazine, and he's got a pretty great resource at scottkfish.com. He's also got a great resource right here on YouTube that you can really dive into. And you could, yeah, Mark, you've got something coming from Mr. Michael Shreve soon, right? Like part 2 of, speaking of the Sage, you know, the ELP's the Sage. 100 hours a month should be doable. I'm not far away, I believe. That's awesome. I like bluegrass since it's more challenging. Yep. The speed, I think the adrenaline, that 9 cups of coffee, that feeling of, you know. Let's get back into fingers 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm all stretched up now. And 1-zy and a 2-zy and putting on my shoesy. And we're using 4 attacks per beat at 60 beats per minute. And then, because it's fingerstyle week, we're we're using index and middle fingers on the picking hand. To cleanly execute our way, traverse our way across the guitar neck. Getting all the way down to position number 1 and completing the ascent in position number 1. And we're turning around now to gain access back to the place from whence we came. And I'm realizing now that my fingers in my picking hand are completely in control of tone generation of the guitar, right? So now, just now, after 3 days of re-examining a fingerstyle approach to the guitar, I'm just now realizing, like, oh yeah, this is what it was like to be a fingerstyle guitar player. So it's really great stuff. So let's see, yes, I play bluegrass and blues, so since I was using a slide to play Crossroad Blues, it was Crossroads Blues. Tony Williams, if you can't keep time, you shouldn't be on the bandstand. So we're well on our way to 40 likes today. If you're here and you can help us get to 40 likes on this video, you can smash that like button and give us a big shot in the arm. We love that. 𝗏 part 2 later today. Thank you, Jason. Keep up the good work. Thank you for being here, Mr. Fish. We'll catch up with you later today. And Sophia, Jason, I don't have any videos. I don't have any videos yet, I think would be the correct way to say that. All right, so we're back to 1, 2, 3, stretch 4. We're getting 3 more minutes. We may not get to the diagonal yet because I wanted to introduce something new. So 1 E and a 2, stretch 4, 3 E, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, right? But I get that all mixed up. Just getting the fingers stretched out. And you can see how important it is because I can easily get lost in the conversation here, but I do sort of feel like we need to accomplish some things in our 1 hour period together. So I'm really focusing on the metronome now. And it's 1 and a 1 dunga 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 dunga. And I'm placing that first click squarely on the downbeat. So theoretically, when my finger passes through the string, it should be exactly in synchronicity with that click track. Every single time. So let's start that again. Position 6, descend. 1 E and a 2 E and a putting on my shoes again. And if you wanted to, you can use the index, middle, and ring fingers. This is a good exercise to kind of get all 3 of those fingers sort of galloping or canter. We'll have time for 1 more finger stretch down to, we'll kick the first finger out of 9th position back to 8 and then run that program. Oh, onesie and a twosie, and you jam on that like button. Stretching that first finger back feels really good this morning. Thank you, Jason. Welcome to the new friends, new arrivals. Gotta roll, and we'll catch up in the evening. All right, sounds good. We'll see you later. Happy birthday to the lady of the house. Wrapping up the pattern. Just sort of the chromatic pattern. We're working on the final finger stretch. I'm kind of excited to get on to the next new thing today. Yesterday we talked about finger rolls, forward rolls, reverse rolls, combination rolls as finger pickers, as finger picking patterns, and we're going to continue on that in that direction today with forward and reverse rolls. So we're starting on the key of C major. We're starting with position. There are only 4 positions here, 4 positions that are really easy and approachable. They're different, but they're definitely approachable, and we'll add like very high angle ascent, linear ascents to our playing, very steep angle linear descents to our single note playing. Oh yes, happy birthday, Nancy. All right. Have a wonderful day and enjoy her day. Let's take a look. C, up a fourth to F, and then we're just using this frets 3, 3, barring that on the A and D string. 4 middle strings. And let me just position this right here. So we have, so that's basically the of C, D, E, F, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a diatonic fourth above that, and a diatonic fourth above that, a diatonic fourth above that. So this would be the 4-note pattern in the 4 middle strings of the guitar. Pattern number 1. So we would just forward roll, if you could roll with me. This kind of thing. 1 and 2 attacks per beat, and then we run up to an octave above where we started, which will be on 11, 12, 13, 14, and now 15. And then we reverse roll all the way down, just so we can get that reverse roll going. To me, it sounds like we're smearing the notes, we're arpeggiating the notes, but they're smearing or bleeding one over the next. And I would like to hear, you know, us have the capacity to play each one of these single notes. So there's a little bit of that finger roll exercise that we've been working on, where we actually use the fingertip and we leave the notes clean and clear behind us. So it would sound like, here's what it sounds like with all 4 of those diatonic fourths planed diatonically through the major scale. Oop. So that's sort of what we're looking for. It just gives us another approach to think outside of the linear part of the major scale, and that typically we'll use thirds to make dyads and chords. But now we can use fours to make melodic lines and chords, other types of chords happen. Give her what's happening this morning. Good morning. If you're just joining us, welcome back to the morning ritual for guitar growth. It happens every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're doing this for the entire year of 2025. I'm so happy that you're back. We're starting with 3 different shapes. So we have the first shape, which is we'll call it the sort of the major 7 shape. And this will be, the second shape is going to be third fret, 4 middle strings, and then 4. We'll call that sort of the minor 7 shape. The next shape is going to be the major 7 sharp 11 shape. Which is the sort of the Lydian mode of 1, 2, 3, 4, 4th degree of the scale. But now what we're doing is just working through these technical lines, just because it's a fingerstyle week, and we want to continue working on new ideas. So we get to the top of that pattern, and then roll reverse down the other one. So that's the kind of thing that we're looking for on this kind of exercise. The other things that we were talking about yesterday, we were basically sitting on a D6, a D chord. We're going to call it a D chord with an 11 in it, a 4, and then an added 6 and added 9. So D6, 9 with an 11 in it, right? And we were just simply working through forward rolls and then working on our technique. So we still want to do that today. So I would encourage, one of the things I like to do to practice this kind of work is use triads. And then back to C with E in the bass. And I'm only using forward rolls. Could be nice. A nice one is F with that added 9 in the open G string. So if we use that F chord with minus that middle finger, then we have a return to C chord with E in the bass. then where do we go from there? That would be the 2/5 of G, which we could play like this. I know my guitar is a little out of tune, but we're working on just simply finding chord progressions that we can use on our own dime. So we have that really nice creation of C. It could be C in the open position, to F in the open position, the regular sort of F chord back to C, and then up to F, and then D7 to G, back to C. Hey, Kevin. Thanks for being here today. We'll see you tomorrow. And thanks for being there. If anybody has any questions or wants to input anything as we get ready to jump for the day, now is a great time. That maybe like the G7 flat 9, and then move up to maybe an area where it's not expected for the ear to go, maybe A minor and then E minor with forward rolls, F chord, F or diminished, or D7 with F sharp in the bass, goes up to G with the G7 flat 9. My guitar is horribly out of tune at this point. Yeah, wicked out of tune. But I really appreciate you guys being here, and like our friend Kevin Haas has left us with, have a great day, everybody. And until tomorrow. Tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be right back here, starting out with breathing, tuning, and guitaring. We'll begin our morning ritual promptly at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, and we will begin with another day 4 of, I guess it's day 4 tomorrow of Fingerstyle week. So any questions or comments, anything? Yeah, see it, there it is. Sounds good. We'll see you again tomorrow morning, and thanks Raul for posting all of those wonderful videos on your channel. We'll get a chance to all get over there and take a look at those. Those are going to be very helpful. Actually, can we get one more like before we jump? One more like, does that work? I know it works for me, but does it work for you? If you're looking at your phone or you're looking at your anything, right? If you just click that like button, maybe we'll get it. Give it another 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. All right. Well, we're out. Thank you so much for being here today. And until we meet again tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, until we meet again, I wish you